Yeah, slap your balls around.
Slap your balls around and just spread them out.
Slap them, pinch them.
Take out the wrinkles out of your balls.
Flick them.
Flick them.
Welcome. I'm John Canopener.
And I'm James Wang.
And together we are Rock Hard. And today we are talking about Halloween 2. Came out in 1981. And as always, James is going to take it away with some facts.
For this first fact, it says it was originally going to be set in the future. What's the most interesting thing about Halloween 2 is how it literally picks up the minute where Halloween leaves off. A wounded Michael Myers wanders off to recover, later tracking down Laurie at the local hospital. It made Michael's original killing spree that much more horrific, with the boogeyman brutally murdering many more innocent people before the same Halloween night was over. Originally, co-writers John Canopener and Deborah Hill had set the story a few years in the future. The plan was for Michael to target Laurie's new home in a high-rise apartment building. However, early into the writing process, the pair switched gears by picking up directly after the original Halloween.
So we could have had a futuristic movie.
Basically, it doesn't really say how many years, it just says a few years in the future, but I mean, I don't know, to be honest, that would have been kind of cool. If you have the original one in 78 and then a couple years later in the future in the apartment building, who knows what kind of shit Michael would have done in an apartment building.
How many people could fuck up in an apartment building?
Exactly. Kind of like Evil Dead, basically.
Yeah. Or Poltergeist.
Poltergeist, Evil Dead, yeah.
Yeah, having it, because that'd be cool. We've never seen that before. We've never seen him take out an apartment building. Mm-hmm. It'd be interesting. But given that it is the same night, it works well. Even though it was filmed, 3 years later? Mm-hmm. 4 years later? 79, 80, 81. 3 years later.
3 years later.
3 years later, they did a damn good job of making it look like the same fucking night. Which is probably a lot easier when you have, such a short fucking time gap in between.
For this next fact. Fact number 2. This one says, John Canopener empathetically killed Dr. Loomis. Feeling there wouldn't be any story left to tell with Michael Myers and Laurie Strode after Halloween 2, Canopener planned to conclude their story with this sequel. This is why Michael Myers is shown burning to a crisp at the end of the film, with Dr. Loomis staying nearby to ensure he doesn't escape. Viewers are left to assume Loomis perished in the fire as well, but because we don't see his death, his fate is left ambiguous.
Until Halloween 4.
So it keeps saying, at the time of the film's release, however, John Canopener said straight up that Loomis and Michael Myers were both dead. He said, the Shape is dead. Pleasant's character is dead too, unfortunately. Obviously, this was retcon to bring both characters back for Halloween 4 and its subsequent sequels. But if it's not for the box office failure of Halloween 3, Loomis would have never emerged from the flames alive. So,
the box office failure of Halloween 3?
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
That's crazy.
Weird. Okay, cool. All right. Because I thought everybody likes that movie now, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Strange to me, but yeah. Okay.
Thank God that shit didn't happen.
So originally, that was supposed to be the end of Loomis and Michael.
Yes.
And he empathetically put him out. He was sad to do it, but he had to. And it actually makes sense because you have the guy that's been with him the longest go out
like a badass
with the monster that he's trying to protect everybody from. Mm-hmm. Bam.
Thank God it did not, like Halloween 3 did not do well, because imagine, I don't know, I think because like I'm so used to seeing Michael and all that shit and Loomis until obviously
Michael
passed.
Wouldn't have been as much of an icon as he is right now.
Exactly. If
for sure
Halloween 3 would have taken off.
Yeah, it didn't because nobody liked it, but now everybody's lying and saying they like it. Just kidding. If you like it, you like it. We don't, but you can like it all you want.
For this last fact, this one I thought was kind of funny. So, obviously Nick Castle did not reprise his role as Michael in this movie.
Did not.
Instead, we got Dick Warlock. Dick's number 1.
Dick Warcock.
Dick Warcock. He's in this movie. So, it says that Dick Warlock freaked out the director to get the job as Michael. So it says, because Nick Castle had moved on from Halloween to focus on directing, a new actor was needed to portray the role of Michael Myers. With the part not yet cast, Dick Warcock sought the role by setting up a meeting with Rick Rosenthal. On the way to Rosenthal's office, Warlock noticed a Michael mask sitting in an adjacent room. He put it on and walked into Rosenthal's office, proceeding to stare coldly at the filmmaker rather than answer his questions. Because he was so unnerved, Rosenthal wound up casting Warlock for the part.
See, sometimes you just gotta go for it.
And that's how it happened. Hey, I would rather accept this than remember I told you in our Scream video a couple videos ago where we said that Melissa Barrera just got the part by doing a Zoom meeting with the people and they're just talking about horror movies and she got the fucking part for some reason.
And she never saw a Scream movie?
And she never seen a Scream movie?
Yeah.
I would accept this. This man, he was like, I'm gonna show you how good I can fucking play this part.
I'm gonna show you.
I'm gonna show you.
Or I'm gonna suck your dick. Either I'm getting this job.
I am not leaving here without a job.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Okay. Is that it for the facts?
That is it with the facts.
That is it. Short and sweet. Now let's get into the real meat and potatoes.
There is one thing I do want to try that we did in the last video, which, by the way, if you haven't seen our first Halloween video, go ahead and click somewhere up here. I want you to try to summarize this entire movie in 30 seconds.
Me?
Yes, because you did it last time. And surprisingly, you did. I didn't time it, but it was less than 30 seconds. Okay. So I do kind of want you to summarize this movie, and I am going to pull up a timer just to see if you're able to do it in less than 30 seconds. And I will let you know.
Pressure's on.
Ready?
Pressure's on. 3,
2, 1, go.
It kicks off right from the ending of the first one. Loomis goes, he's to the lawn, he sees Michael's missing. He goes on a rampage trying to find out where the fuck Michael is. Michael makes his way to the hospital where Laurie is. He finds that out by running to a kid with the boombox that says he's at the hospital. Luckily enough, the sign's right in front of him, so Michael just goes that way. He goes into the hospital, creates all kind of havoc there, finally finds Laurie. Dr. Loomis finally gets there. The hospital explodes because Loomis lights a fire or turns on all the oxygen and all the gas to make it explode. Michael does a firewalk, dies, supposedly, and Loomis dies with him in the fire. Jamie makes it out, or Laurie makes it out, and that's it.
Okay, so that was pretty quick, but it unfortunately wasn't 30 seconds.
The fucking pressure, man.
It's a 51:42.
It's a continuation.
Basically, it's a continuation. That's it. But I thought it was kind of funny because in the last video, you did kind of just explain the entire movie in 30 seconds. So, I mean, this one does have a little bit more going on, and there's two different stories. So, to be fair, you know what? You explained 2 movies basically in a minute. So, I give you.
It's kind of hard because Halloween 2 is Halloween
1 continuing. Yeah.
Just continuing. It's one big movie. So. It's kind of hard to separate them because this is what's going on. But yeah, that's the best I can do with it. But right now, we're getting into the real meat and potatoes. Starting off with, I have kicks off with Mr. Sandman.
Bum 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 bum.
Mr. Sandman.
Mr. Sandman.
Yeah, bring me a dun, 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 dun. But yeah, it starts off with that, and then right after that, it shows the ending of the first movie.
Yes.
And then the second movie kicks off with Loomis coming out of the front door, looking at the lawn, and then telling that motherfucker, the neighbor next door.
Touch the grass, and he feels chocolate syrup on his hands.
Yeah, and then the neighbor says, "I've been trick-or-treated to death tonight," or whatever. And he's like, "You don't know what death is,
motherfucker."
Yeah. But sick lines. You get a lot more Loomis in here. Loomis is...
That was one thing I have in my notes. Not only did we get more Loomis, but I think so far this is the best version of Loomis compared to the first one.
Yeah.
I think he's definitely solidified himself as the main counterpart to Michael.
The way they went from 1 to this one, 78 to 81, but it's the same night, right? Beautiful though. Beautiful transition because it shows Laurie being like, "It was the boogeyman, was it?" You know, and then he was like, "As a matter of fact, it was."
It was.
And then he goes out there and he's like, "Fuck."
Where the fuck is he at? The first thing that I noticed was the iconic Halloween theme song, but a little bit updated.
Some synth.
With that like 80s synthesizer. That shit's kind of cool. A little sped up too.
A little clicky thing in the back. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was the first thing I know. I'm like, yeah. Like, obviously the Halloween song is gonna be iconic, but in this one, like, they just try to, I guess, like, set themselves apart from the first one. They try to, I don't know. I feel like this one is kind of does everything right, like with the kills and the characters and the songs. Like, obviously the first movie is going to be cool, but in this one, like, we already established the characters, we established the story, and they already just kind of just go off, just fucking do your thing.
It's like, even though it's the same night, the music kind of brings it into the new decade.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Remember, I told you we were watching it, and I was like, this sounds very 80s.
Yeah, it is. It's the starting of it. So, yeah, more synth. More, yeah, you can totally tell it's 80s.
For sure.
And what you just said, that the Halloween theme, it kicks off right after Loomis says that, you don't know what death is,
and then,
motherfucker.
Motherfucker.
And it starts running. And then you get the title, with the pumpkin, and I have this written down. The pumpkin ripping open and showing the skull. It's bad as shit.
Yeah.
I enjoy that quite a bit. I love that.
It's probably the coolest thing about the intro.
I have one negative here. We're going to start. It's a little mix up here.
Ruh-roh.
You got a negative. I shot him 6 times! I shot him 6 times! He says it all the time. But, especially in the beginning of this, when you see him, he shoots him on the stairs once.
That's one.
And then after that, he shoots him 7 more times.
Yeah.
We counted 8 times. Which is kind of hard to believe that they missed that.
Especially like in the type of gun he has, like a revolver. It's only like 6 bullets in there, so it's obviously more than 6.
I burped in the mic. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird because I don't know. Like, I feel like I mean, there's other people out there who are saying 7. We counted 8.
I counted 8.
Basically, what we're trying to say is that it's more than 6.
It's more than 6 when you hear him say it all the time, and then you
know it's not
a little bit, and it's just like, God, how did they miss that? How'd they miss it? How'd they miss it? You know, should have been like 2 less shots when he was. But instead, there's 8. I need to grab another apple juice. I'll be right back.
Get me a beer.
Give me a beer.
Give me a beer. Okay, sure. We'll be right back. Fresh. Weed's pissed.
We did. I went pee-pee.
And I did not wash my hands.
And I'll let out a little fart. I'm just going to be real.
Because that's what we do here on Rock Hard.
We let out little farts and we pee a little bit.
Yeah. I also...
Is that a crime? I don't know.
We here on Rock Hard, we never wash our hands and we never wipe.
Yeah.
Anyway. So. All right, so the next thing I have on my list, I thought was kind of funny, that I feel like the tones of Halloween 2 and Halloween Kills, I'm going to keep referencing to the future, because like I feel like that new trilogy is like, they're just referencing hella to the old movies.
And once again, we assume you guys have seen it. All of these movies.
Spoiler alert.
Yes. We assume you've seen all these.
If you guys haven't seen it, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Go watch that shit and then come back. Okay, we'll wait.
Continue.
We'll wait. Watch it. Go ahead and watch it. We'll wait.
Go ahead.
All right, anyway. So, I thought it was kind of funny how basically in Halloween 2, you kind of see Loomis, like, trying to get people to believe him. Same thing, again, I said in my last video, how Loomis and Laurie now in the new trilogy are like the same person. They're trying to say evil is here, you know, like what the
evil
fuck?
Is here!
Yeah, like and then she's trying to say the same thing, like he's still out here, he's alive and shit, whatever. Basically, in both movies, chaos ensues. You know, fucking Michael Myers escaped and they go to his house and they're trying to fucking they're breaking it, you know, all that shit. Basically, in my notes, I put Blonde Michael because it's Ben Tramer, which we learned it was Ben Tramer, but we thought it was, or at first you think it's Michael.
Jamie has the fucking hots for, you know?
Yeah. Not anymore because he's fucking dead.
He's dead.
Anyway, they try looking for Michael. He's like, hey, you gotta find him and all that shit. They're looking through it, and then they see someone that's wearing a fucking Michael Myers mask, or what is Captain Kirk, and in a jumpsuit. What a fucking coincidence! Like, there's no fucking way.
Yeah, it's not like it was a popular costume at the time.
No, it was like
it's a little cheaty writing.
Yeah, it's whatever, and they try chasing him down. They tell him to stop, and then they said later on he said he was drunk, but he's like they're falling. What the fuck? And he crosses the street and
I don't know. He just turns around with his little popcorn bag or whatever.
Yeah, he's just trying to cross the street, and he gets wham! This fucking hit by a fucking cop car, which, by the way, it's also Dick Warlock, who plays Michael, is the cop in the car that hits Ben Tramer, smashes into an ambulance, and that shit engulfs in flames, and then Ben Tramer fucking dies. So I thought it was kind of funny, but basically you kind of see how panic ensues, and then it just leads to people who have nothing to do with it dying. Same thing in Halloween Kills with that short little fuck that escaped the mental hospital with Michael.
Danny DeVito.
And he just winds up getting... He dies because of basically chaos ensues and panic rises within the community and shit happens. People just die, and that was kind of funny that how all that stuff happened. And yeah.
So, my next one is Michael stalking from house to house, silently showing up behind people.
Yes.
He does that quite a bit in this movie, and I love it. I love that kind of shit. I love it. That's why in the Strangers, if you haven't seen that, like. When the sackhead guy shows up behind Liv Tyler and she doesn't even know, and then when she's in the kitchen, and he's just standing there, I'm like, oh, that's totally Michael Myers. I love that stuff, and especially from Michael. I think he does it the best, to where because he can just blend in whenever. And he just like whenever play hide and seek. You ever done that with your brothers and sisters, or your friends, or something like that? And you don't really hide; you just stay still by like a wall, and they walk right fucking past you because they can't see you. That's Michael all the time, and he gets away with it all the time in here. And I like seeing him, like, when that bitch is cutting up the ham or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's going to talk to her husband. Michael's behind her, but he's listening to the TV at the same time. He fucking gets out of there. There's another part in here I'm going to talk about later where he shows up in the back. But a lot of Michael's stalking, a lot of POV shots, and a lot of him showing up in the background behind characters that are unaware that he's even close to them. I like it. I like it a lot.
They try calling Laurie's parents. The phones are down, and then the nurses tell the security officer, what's his name again? Garrett, yeah. They tell him to go check the phones and all that shit, and he's going through. I don't know what's the first thing. I don't know why he checked the dumpster. If he didn't go check he hears the noise. I guess he's hearing shit.
He heard something in there.
And then he fucking opens the thing, and then the cat jumps on him. Fast forward. He knows that there's someone broken into that little storage room, or whatever the fuck he said it was called, and basically I put that he gets a hammer to the head, and I thought that was a pretty gnarly kill.
Because it's the back of the hammer.
Yeah, it's the part where you prop up the nails.
So he's just like pry shit with.
Yeah.
Fucking goes clink
in the fucking head, dude. That shit's fucking. That's what I'm saying. God, I'm so glad that they kept the gory shit in this movie, because I don't know what they would have done instead of him doing the hammer shit.
Oh, for real.
Like, that's what I'm saying. This movie, the kills like that is what makes this movie fucking awesome. Like, it's the kills, the gory, the nudity. I'm just kidding. But the kills, I mean, I'm going to reference more kills afterwards anyway, but still, like, I'm saying, the kills in this movie is what makes this movie so fucking awesome. And I'm so glad they just kept, or John Carpenter decided to put his fucking hands in this fucking bowl and then just do things his way. Because if they would have changed it, I'd have been fucked.
I kind of feel like Halloween 2 is like an amped up version of Halloween 1.
Yes.
Kind of going with what I said before, how Michael can blend in at night, like when he runs into the kid with the boombox.
Yeah.
And that boombox says that Laurie is at the Haddonfield Memorial. Or whatever, and it just so happens there's a sign there that says Haddonfield Memorial right there.
It's right fucking that way.
But anyway, he's just walking like nonchalant around town, and no one even bats an eye because it's Halloween night. Just a weird guy in a mask. Who cares? But also he looks very human-like, even with his mask. So he can just blend in anywhere. Mm-hmm. And that's the creepiness of Michael. That's what I like about the guy. He's just still. he moves so slow and so like he's not a threat that you would never think he's a threat. But then that turns into a threat later when he's after your ass and he's fucking walking 2 miles an hour towards you, like, ah! He's like a mile down the road. Fuck, I'm fucked. But yeah, so go along with the same thing I said before, but I just noticed that part because he bangs into the kid with the boombox. Mm-hmm. And then hears all that info and then heads off to Haddonfield. But the whole time he's just walking around town like nonchalant, like.
Which, by the way, is probably like the most perfect crime.
You gotta
like
hide.
raising hell on Halloween night and you're wearing a fucking costume like everyone else. Like, yeah, it's fucking.
You could hide
perfect.
right out in the open.
Exactly, perfect. This next one, I thought it was kind of funny because it was like it's gross. So this kind of takes place in the scene with Bud, the paramedic, and then one of the nurses. They're in the fucking like the therapy room or whatever, and they're in like the tub and something, and then they're obviously having their moment, whatever. And then Michael fucking raises the heat of the water, and then she tells him to get out, check it out, whatever. That little stupid shit, and then he obviously kills him like from behind and fucking getting him and all that shit, and the thing, and then after he finishes killing him, he comes out and she's like sitting on the side of the tub and he puts her hands trying to cop a feel, and then she gets his hand and starts sucking on his fingers, his doo-doo fingers. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Like this man has not washed his hands and like fucking.
Okay.
Just like shit.
I'll do it if you want me to. Oh, goddamn, Bud.
It's like yo.
Amazing grace, come sit on my face. Don't make me cry. I need your pie. That's a song from Bud. You touch his balls first before you do it. Going along with what you said, yeah, I have the same thing. Bud death. The Bud death is silent. Like she's in there and she's like, go check it out. It's getting too hot in here. And he's like, okay. And he gets his little butt cheeks get out.
What did he say? Oh, it's cold out there. And she's like, it's gonna be cold in here. I'm like, damn.
You ain't getting no pussy.
Basically.
And then Michael kills the naked man. Strangles him. Looks like his butt fucking him a little bit. Just a little. It looks a little bit. We can't tell, really. You just see him going, struggling or whatever Michael could be.
You fucking take that shit.
Bud's death is silent. I like it. It's in the back, and you can see it, but she can't. Again, with that stuff where Michael's in the background, but this character doesn't know.
Oh, yeah.
It's going along with that same thing, except Bud's fucking getting his ass handed to him back there. And then after that, with the suck on the fingers, he kills this bitch, and then how he kills her. That water is like 150 degrees, 200 degrees, something like that. It just keeps climbing. And he drowns her. But every time he takes her ass down and brings her back up, she's a little more fucking burned up. Like her skin's all boiled and shit.
That's what I was gonna reference that too. Like again, another example of why the kills in this movie are so fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm thanking God that they did not change that. Because like, again, who knows what they could have done? Who knows what they would have changed or what was the original plan for that death scene? Or if that even happened? Maybe it didn't happen. Bullshit. Yeah.
Maybe you just see her
head.
Or
maybe it may not have happened because they didn't want any nudity in the movie or as much or something. So who knows? Yeah. It probably never happened, but thank God that should happen.
Because it's gnarly. Every time she comes up, she's a little more fucked up.
You see her skin peeling off her face, and it's like.
And then when she's on the ground, she looks.
Her hair's fucked up.
Her hair's fucked up. She's got boils on her fucking skin.
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm saying.
All torn up. He goes, yeah, that's a gnarly kill. That was a good one. All right,
amazing,
on to you, my friend.
All right, now this one's going a little bit fast forward. This is the part where Laurie's faking like some sort of like. What's the word called? Like where you're like a reaction to some sort of the medicine she's been receiving, and she's just there, like her fucking eyes are open. They're like
catatonic.
Basically, yeah. And then one of the nurses went to Dr. Mixtures, which we quickly learned a name. We were saying Dr. Mexican because it's
Dr. Mexican.
That's kind of that's what it sounded like she was saying to us. Anyway. She's like, Dr. Make sure it's an emergency, is Laurie and all that shit, trying to tell her or tell him what's going on and all that stuff, and then he's not saying anything. And he's like, for me, I'm just thinking the way he's sitting, he's like leaned back. I'm like, it's like he's like jerking off, and he's like, can I just fucking jerk off in peace, please?
Fuck,
and his eyes are like, And he turns him around, and he's like, has a fucking needle like in his eye.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my god, again, so gnarly. And then she's like backing up and oh my freaking out and all that shit. And you just see his mask illuminating.
Yes.
In the background.
Just like we talked about in the first one.
In the first movie with Laurie and
how his mask just slowly lights up.
And you see nothing behind him. You don't see his body. You see his mask is lighting up. And like, gets that bitch. He puts it in her head.
Right in the temple.
And in the air. I'm like, God, so simple but so fucking gnarly.
Yes. The negative. I have a negative here. You see Michael's eyes way too damn much in this. People have a problem with seeing his face. I do too. But besides seeing his face, I think eyes is the second one. You want those things to be black. You don't want to see any eyes.
You don't want to see the human in him.
No.
You just want to see an entity.
And you see his eyes hella in this movie. Like a gang of times. So much that I had to write it down because I was like, okay, I've seen it so many times. Like, this guy didn't give a fuck about the blackest eyes, the darkest eyes. You know what I mean?
The devil's eyes.
That's what Loomis said in the first one. So now you have him, he's like...
You see his eyes and shit.
Just looking around, he has like expression and shit when he's looking at people and stuff. And it's like, no, nah. The nurse drained of blood, the black nurse, when they find her, and looks like Michael knocked her ass out and then...
Put a needle in her
Stuck a needle in her. I don't know how he knows the stuff, but whatever. Anyway, but it's just a cool scene. I always thought that was a cool kill. That's probably my favorite kill in this whole thing.
I think that's like probably the worst way to go out, knowing
just drain your blood.
That there's nothing you can do but just.
I mean, if you're unconscious, I'm assuming she's unconscious. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
you just take shit out when you go.
Either way, like you either pinned down on one arm or you're unconscious, but you're just bleeding out without you knowing. Like it's fucked. Like it's scary.
Yeah, bleeding out. It's your life juice.
Pretty much, and she ran out of it.
Yeah.
I think my favorite kill is probably that fucking bitch getting in the boiling water.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
That's just pretty gnarly.
Yeah, and it sucks we didn't get to see this kill, but we saw the aftermath. But I just like the visual of it. I think it's cool. I have another negative here.
Oh god.
Through the whole movie, I think Michael walks a little too slow. In the first one,
too fast.
For the most part, Michael walked at a nice, steady pace. But when he was going down the stairs, he was a little too fast. When he was going after Laurie across the street, he was a little too fast. In this one, I feel like he's a robot. Like I feel like he's zombies. Like he's very, very slow, very slow to the point to where it's almost not even scary anymore. You know. And it's a little ridiculous that he can just like turn a corner and get away from people so quick with that speed that he's going at. There's one guy that nailed it perfectly, and I already mentioned him in the last one. James Jude Courtney, you fucking beautiful motherfucker. I think he nailed the pacing the best throughout the whole franchise.
Like not too fast and not too slow. Like he's able to like have
but kind of steady, arms not moving much. Just the Michael,
especially like when he's like walking like through the houses and shit, and he just turns and he just walks like it's fucking perfect.
And we will get to 2018. But God, I cannot stop talking about it because I love it so much. Huh?
All right, so for this next one that I have, it is a negative, and I'm certain you have it written down as well. Towards the end of the movie, where all that shit happens, where he breaks through the door, he kills the marshal, and Loomis and Laurie go to the separate room, and then he tries to give her the gun. She doesn't want to take it. He has another gun. He breaks through the fucking door, and then he tries shooting him empty, which, goddamn, you stupid bitch. How do you not know the gun's, like, empty? Anyway, all that shit's going on. He stabs him. He fucking just falls, and he's just laying there. And then Laurie picks up the gun. He's getting closer, and she just fucking nails him in both eyes.
Both eyes.
Perfect. Like,
never shot a gun in her life.
Never shot a gun in her life, and just gets him in the fucking eyes.
In the eyes. Which are both still very visible. It's actually
and he does
all emo.
He does the.
Yeah. While he's holding his head. Yeah.
I thought I was like, all right, that part
corny as shit.
A little corny, a little ridiculous.
Because maybe she could blast him in the chest or something, like a bigger target. But you got both eyes, bitch. You never shot a gun, and you shot both eyes. And he still has them. And he shot anywhere in here, you'd be dead. Okay, I guess we're at the end here. I like how they end it, just how they started it with Mr. Sandman.
Mr.
Bring
Sandman.
me a dream, bum 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 bum, make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Bum 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 bum. You know what I mean? But I like how they begin the movie with Sandman, Mr. Sandman,
And then they
end it with Mr. Sandman.
I was gonna say another thing that I have was, I mean, again, it's pretty basic, pretty well known. I just have a Michael's Firewalk at the end. I thought that was kind of cool. Like, it's like another thing too. I feel like I should just say it now. That, in the last video, you said that Halloween was like the longest for decades, the highest-grossing independent film.
I did.
And when I edited it, I looked it up on Google, and it said Passion of the Christ, and I guess I was wrong. I admit I fucked up on that part. So I'm here to make it right now. Halloween is the
Well, you're not
longest.
wrong. Passion of the Christ was the highest grossing independent film after
Halloween. But
So-
before Halloween was the highest grossing independent film for decades, before Passion of the Christ. Passion of the Christ to this day is still the biggest one, but Halloween was before. So again, I apologize. I fucked up. I'm a piece of shit. Oh my God. But anyway, yeah, so I fucked up, and now it's on record that I was wrong. And before we end this off, I do want to ask you, just like I did in the last video, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate Halloween 2? Because in the last one, you said 7.
I did.
So how would you rate Halloween 2?
9.
9. All right, so here it is.
I like Halloween 2 a lot.
So Halloween 2, 9 out of 10. And Halloween 1 in the last video, he said 7 out of 10. So that's where we're at right now.
And with that, we thank you guys for watching our video. We appreciate you guys, all 21 of you. 21?
21.
All 21 of you coming in here, subscribing, enjoying the channel. Thank you so much. And keep your eyes peeled for Halloween 4, because
Fuck
Halloween 3. We'll see you next time. This is Rock Hard, out.
Stay rock hard. Beans, rice, and Jesus Christ.